Pressure under pressure.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. Jacob is out. Says he's doing important things.
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
if it's true or not, right? Tim is doing important things. He's out with dinner or out with the wife having dinner. And obviously me and Emilio, you guys are stuck with us this evening. We're just going to talk a little Packers, Cardinals. We get the final injury report. We've also got the Packers-Cardinals PFF preview we're going to dive into. Really excited about that. We'll show some of the matchups, how they grade out, both on offense and defense. We'll look at different personnel packages, the whole 9 yards. So appreciate everybody making us a part of your evening. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We are fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live here in the future. Emilio, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Ready to go.
Ready to go, man. Happy it's Friday. Super excited to be here. Excited for a big game this weekend. Get that first win away taken care of, right? We had the loss and the tie. So let's get one in the win column and keep moving forward.
Yeah, amen to that, dude. And I think this is going to be a good game, and I think it's going to be a sneaky good game here. Obviously, as the slate gets kicked off on Sunday morning, there will be a game. What is it? Jacksonville? Who's Jacksonville playing? It's kind of a big game. They're both 4-1 teams. I shouldn't ask a question I don't know the answer to. The Rams. So, are 4-2 teams. Both of them are 4-2. So, we're Jaguar fans, man. You know, if they can pull that off, the Jaguars can win that game. Then obviously, let's see. I think it's.
We're already on to week 7. That's crazy. I pulled up the wrong schedule there, but yeah, it's LA Rams was at the 19th, so that's gonna be a good one.
It is, man. And again, we're pulling for the Jaguars there. If somehow, some way the Jaguars win that game against the Rams, that's going to help the Packers in the NFC standings. The Packers are currently sitting in the number 2 spot. I don't believe anything's changed. I mean, unless they, got them wrong when they initially released them. So the Packers are currently the number 2 seed in the NFC as it sits right now, which is really, really exciting considering, Emilio, we really haven't played our best football, man. No. That's what's crazy.
That's exactly it. And I was just taking a peek there. You also have the Lions, or I'm sorry, you also have the Eagles going against the Vikings. That's a 1:00 game. And then you have the Lions going up against Tampa. That'll be Monday night. So either way, you're either going to have an idea on where the Lions are, or you're going to have an idea on who the top in the NFC is with Tampa. And then, again, you got Vikings and Eagles, another 2 top teams. Someone's got to take a loss there. I think it's going to be a good week for us.
That's a great point, man. So what you've got is we've got meaningful Packer football Sunday morning because we're rooting for the Jaguars against the Rams. Then when you get into the 1:00 window, you got 2 games. You're going to want to do those split screen there. You got the Eagles at the Vikings, like you said, and then the Saints at the Bears.
Yep.
And then, of course, the 4:25 window is going to be the Packers at the Cardinals. And then Sunday night, you got a couple of teams there with the Atlanta Falcons and San Francisco 49ers. The Falcons have really turned some heads this year, and the 49ers are one of the better teams in the NFC. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you get into Monday Night Football, and what do you got? You got 2 games that really matter there because the Seahawks are kind of toward the top of the standings as well there in the NFC West, along with Tampa Bay going into Detroit. And I hope Tampa Bay just beats the brakes off the Lions, dude. That would be lovely.
You'd be fine with second place and the Lions taking a beating.
What's that?
I said you'll be fine with second place and the Lions taking a beating.
Oh, you kidding me, dude? Let's go, man. Yeah, that's the route I would go there. Anytime the NFC North is involved, I want us to win the division first and foremost. That's kind of how I look at it, especially early in the year. Let's get as much of a lead as we can. We got to take the North back, man. The reality is it's been 3 years, right, since we've won the North. So pretty wild. Joe Pack in the chat says, man, that win last week looked a whole lot better after that game last night. Amen, Joe. I wanted to ask you about that, Emilio, because obviously Aaron Rodgers takes them down the field there with 2 minutes left and just has a heroic drive there, hits the long touchdown pass. and it looks like the Steelers are in the driver's seat. And what happens? Joe Flacco takes them right down the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Listen, any given Sunday, anything can happen. And also, it's why I don't put a whole lot of stock in strength of schedule, DVOA, all that stuff, especially in the first half of the season, because this is the type of stuff that happens. When the Packers beat the Bengals by 9 points, Emilio, the talk around town was, man, I expected the Packers to win by more than that. And then Cincinnati gets back home and beats the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were a 4-1 team. So any given Sunday, man.
We go out and beat the Bengals, and it's a terrible thing because it was only 9 points, and we're playing the Steelers next. But the Steelers go out and lose to the Bengals, who we ended up beating by 9 points. So crowd's a little bit quiet about the double-digit win, or what are we talking about? And I know Ryan got chewed on for saying double-digit when it was a 2-score, but that's it, man. I mean, any given Sunday, any week, it can be something different. And what I felt when he went down and scored before the 2-minute, way too much time. I mean, it would be just like if you gave Rodgers too much time. It's kind of like how I felt in Dallas when they went down and scored. Pickens went in there, or when it went in and scored with 2 minutes left. Jordan had enough time to run us down there. Sometimes you need to take the fall there and run the clock. I mean, I know they needed a touchdown, but you saw what T. Higgins did. You got a catch, could have had a walk-in touchdown and gave the ball right back to Aaron. Didn't, but it, got down, kicked the easy field goal and get out of there.
I think it's a great point, man, for sure. And Joe, like I said, I'm glad you brought that up because not many people that were ragging on the Packers are talking about that. Now, here's the other thing. You look up and go, okay, yeah, they're winning. They're in the lead in the North. All right, they're the number 2 seed in the NFC, but wacky things can happen throughout the season. Guys, across the entire National Football League, there were only 4 teams coming into this week that had 1 loss. There's now only 3 now that the Steelers lost. You like my little scribble job there?
I was wondering how long that took you. When I saw that pop up, I was like, that looks official. That looks like somebody.
Yeah, so obviously there are only 3 teams now with 1 loss. And listen, we're hoping that we come out of this week and the Packers are the only 1-loss team. Again, if we take a glance back at that schedule, who are the Colts playing? When do the Colts play? The Colts play the Chargers in that 4 o'clock window. They're on the road with the LA Chargers. And then, like we had said, Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football there against the Lions. So it's a win-win either way, kind of like what you alluded to there earlier. If the Lions win that game and we win our game, we're still in first place in the North, right? And now all of a sudden we're one of 2 teams with only 1 loss, right? Because Tampa would have dropped. If Tampa wins, it's always a good thing when they're beating the Lions down standings. So it's going to be a good week of football for sure, man.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was the 4th or 5th oldest quarterback matchup in the in league history, and Rodgers was a part of like 3 or 4 of them as well. Obviously, he had Brady in like 6 of them, but just two veterans battling right there, and that's just crazy. You think about the timing and the processing speed of both of those quarterbacks. That's what half that defense is. I mean, half of them are shallow routes. Sometimes you hit them you hit them over the bunker, whatever it is. It's just it seems so much faster from the elder quarterbacks that they just have that extra split second that they don't lose. They got rid of that little second hitch or the slow motion somewhere here or there, and it just is unbelievably smooth.
Yeah. Greg Rice in the chat says Flacco throws a pretty ball. He does, Greg. He does, man. Listen, there were some of those throws to Chase against the Packers that I know people just roll their eyes like, oh, well, Flacco ain't that good, man. Those were a tight spiral, on time, perfectly accurate, on the sideline. That throw to him where he put it right in the basket on the touchdown throw. My goodness, man. I mean, let's be honest. Keyshawn Nixon could not have played coverage any better other than just getting his hand in between the receiver's hands to break that pass up. And Jamar Chase just a hell of a throw and catch. It really was.
Yeah. Like Greg said, with the Flacco throwing a pretty ball, J. Cole said, not making fun of Flacco no more about that. I mean, you see it, dude. Dude still got it.
Yeah. And Ron Stamble says, Flacco cracks me up with no emotion at all. It's so true. He looks like the type of guy that just got off work on Friday and knows he's still got to go home, mow his own damn grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, what do I got to do? What are the kids doing tonight? I got to run the kids to the ball game. I got to do, he just always got that.
He's got 3 duffel bags in the back of the car, one for football, and then the other 2 for just being a dad and a husband, all that.
Exactly. All right, let's jump into the injury report real quick, Emilio. This just came out not too long ago. We were out at dinner and seen it came down to Pike. I want to give a shout out to our good friend Paul Brettle. We need to get him back on the show, man. I stopped bugging Paul because he's wearing several different hats now, right? He was doing some stuff for the Colts. He's still doing stuff for Green Bay. I don't know if he's still doing those projects with the Colts, but I need to reach out to him and see if he's available because we love having him on the show. Yeah. Packers, Cardinals, final injury report. Wyatt, Van Ness, and Christian Watson are out. So there we got our answer to the Christian Watson question. I don't think he had a setback at all. I think they just decided, hey, look, let's wait one more week. No surprise there. We kind of predicted right around Halloween we would expect him back, you know. So I think one more week at least, possibly two. But yeah. I think Watson's going to be ready to go probably next week. What do you think?
I think I remember saying week 10 or 12 I was going to be super comfortable with. But, hey, I mean, the fact that he came back this fast and, you know, people getting on him for not being out there already and all that, it's like, dude came back from a torn ACL in less than 9 months. That's freaky. So I'm totally fine with that. You got to take it easy. And, again, we got to protect him. I know he probably feels like it's all right once you start. It's just you can practice game speed. You just can't replicate it, right? It's really tough to replicate some of those in-game moments, the positions you get put in, all that, the decisions you got to make in a split second. So, yeah, I'd take it easy on him. Let's just get him out there slow. If you want to come out against Rodgers and the Steelers, let's do that.
Yeah. And Josh Jacobs is questionable, but was a full participant on Friday. 6 others questionable. So obviously Josh Jacobs is going to play. Let's just dive into the entire injury report here for the Packers. All right. Aaron Banks, no game status, so he's good to go. Anthony Belton is questionable. All right. So that's 50-50 shot there. Warren Brinson, Matthew Golden, both good to go. Nate Hobbs, Josh Jacobs, Brandon McManus, and Jacob Monk are all questionable as well. Okay. And then you move along here. Jordan Morgan was full participation. He's good to go. Zach Thomas questionable. I think he'll be good to go as well. If Anthony Belton was available, maybe they would be a little more hesitant on Zach Tom, but I think Zach Tom's going to be out there. I think it's more of a pain management thing and no additional risk on re-injuring the oblique. Lucas Van Ness did not participate. Of course, he's out. Christian Watson is out, although he was limited. Like they said, they're ramping him up. Dontavion Wicks is listed as questionable, and Devontae White, like we said, is officially out. So really the only thing that sticks out here is exactly what Paul Brettle said, Emilio. You got Lucas Van Ness, you got Christian Watson and Devontae White, all three out. I think both of those will probably be back next week. Now, if you look at the questionables here, are we concerned, Emilio? Anthony Belton, Nate Hobbs, Josh Jacobs, Brandon McManus, Jacob Monk, Zach Tom, Dontavion Wicks. Are you worried about any of those players not playing? Is there something I'm missing there?
McManus would be the only one. I think that him being did not participate on Friday. I know that they were asking him. It's always day to day, you know, and Matt saying we'll see. I think that his we'll see is still going to be another week out. Would just not. I mean, if he didn't kick all week, yeah, he probably can go out and kick it. But Haversick is taking kicks all week. Let him just go out there and take care of that. Keep resting up the leg. If there's no point in bringing him back early. You're just going to be mad at yourself in week 12 if he re-injures it or whatever. So let him sit out however long he needs. And again, you got to watch out for him. The only other one would be Nate Hobbs, just going not listed to limited. Hopefully it's just, flared up, need to get it iced and, compression on it, something like that. But besides that, I think I'm pretty happy with everybody else.
Yeah, I like what Coach Lynn said here. This is Christian Watson's training camp. It's so true, right? I mean, that's exactly what this is. It isn't about, he's too hurt to play. It's about ramping him up and getting him ready, right? To go in and see real game time. So I think that's very well put there, Coach Lynn. Very, very good perspective there for sure. Moving along to the Cardinals side here, Emilio. So let's just focus on the ones that did not participate. It's kind of interesting. Well, Calais Campbell's good to go, right? That's just veteran rest. So they just gave him Friday off. So he's good to go. And he's mentioned as one of the Tuesday players in our game plan over at Patreon. You guys make sure you check that out. We'll continue to add to that all the way up till game time. Keaton Crawford, safety with the ankle, was limited. He's listed as questionable. Amari DeMarcado, the running back, he is out. Now, I don't know if that was actually an ankle injury, if that's where the coach smacked him in the chest and hurt his feelings, but he's definitely out this game. Sliding on down, Will Hernandez and Zay Jones are both questionable. If Zay Jones doesn't play, that might be interesting there, right? Them be a little lighter at wide receiver. Now, two of their top graded players on offense, according to PFF, is Trey McBride and their backup tight end as well. Although the backup tight end has had minimal targets, but Trey McBride is kind of that guy. It's interesting. Trey McBride leads them in receiving yards, but some of the advanced metrics, Emilio, doesn't look good, like the EPA and stuff like that. It's not very high. His yak is horrible, right? And usually you get tight ends like Tucker Kraft, for instance. He's just a yak god, right? So it's one of those things, in my opinion, you don't have to worry about Trey McBride's yards after the catch as much as you do him just securing the catch. So play him tight in coverage, and we'll talk about it in the game plan on how to control him. I play him tight in coverage with little worry about him breaking tackles after the catch. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of want to stay sticky on him, but also, you're not overly worried about trying to bracket him over the top or anything like that. Like, he's going to be a game changer. So yeah, I like that idea, especially he's getting 7-8 targets a game minimum, and he's catching 3/4 of them, right? So it's the offense is going to run through him a little bit. But yeah, you're right. If that's his best player, and they want to go to him underneath, fine. If we can keep everything else out, I know we don't love the nickel and dime, but I'd much rather keep everything in front of me, eyes on the ball, than getting beat over the top, running zero man. I still kind of stand by that. I don't think that anybody would be happy with that.
Yeah, and on the other side here, you've got our boy. Where's he at? Marvin Harrison Jr. with the concussion, limited full participation. He's good to go.
Yep.
He's having kind of a down year a little bit, Emilio, but 15 yards per catch. Got to be aware of that. So he's kind of the shot play guy, right? Or at least the mid to deep range guy. Trey McBride's the underneath dude. They will dump it off to James Conner if they need to at the running back position. But really what I would key in on is make sure Marvin Harrison Jr. is not hitting you for the big plays, right? And then let's key in on the catch point of Trey McBride. Don't be afraid to play aggressive coverage on him. Right. Also, this is one of those games I would say don't be afraid to dial up a blitz or two. Let's get pressure on the quarterback until they prove we can read it, we can get the ball out, and we can burn you in that regard. This is probably not one of those games where I'd like to see 7 in coverage. I'd like to see you load the box and blitz a little bit more, get pressure on those quarterbacks, especially if you jump out to an early lead.
Yeah, and then pin the ears back just like they did in Tennessee last year. It's something that we can get to. It's just you can't jump into that right away. And you're right. I think that let's get a little bit of pressure on them. They do want to try to force the ball vertically down the field, though it hasn't been, like you said, super successful. And I honestly think Marvin Harrison, gets in his head a little bit. In that one game, he didn't really kind of get the weight off of his back until he got that touchdown finally. And then it started slowing down for him. Then the game started coming to him a little bit more. But man, we've got that in Matthew Golden, right? By now the dude's getting better. He's feeling it. So I think that, I'll take our younger wide receiver over Marvin right now. But yeah, you're going to have to keep an eye on him and being in there. That's always a possibility.
And somebody that's not on this list, thank you, Joe Pack, for pointing this out. Connor is on IR.
Right.
So what you'll have to notice is Bam Knight, I think he goes by Zonovan and Bam as well. He's been the running back the last 2 weeks here, week 5, week 6, 70 PFF grade, 68 PFF grade. So he's been kind of the dump off guy here lately. So keep an eye on him. He's one that might be able to make a little bit of a difference. He was full participation as well with the knee injury. Looked like he's good to go though, 100%. So thank you for that information there, Joe Pack. All right. Hey fam in the chat. Clayton's hat's wider than Emilio's thighs after a summer of mowing. There you go. You heard it from a fan right here. So the other one, Darius Robinson, defensive line with he's questionable. Of course, Walter Nolan's going to be out again, although he was limited all week long. And then Kyler Murray, man. Kyler Murray's interesting. You see questionable, think, all right, he might play with the foot injury, right? But all week long, we know that the Cardinal insiders were pointing out the entire time that he was throwing with the practice squad guys, right? Like and it looked like Brissett was getting all the reps with the actual receivers, actual tight ends. So it's going to be interesting, man. If I had to put money on, if I had to bet one way or another, I would say Murray's not going to play, but you never know, man. It may come game time and he's out there. Regardless, I think Brissett can play at an equal or maybe even higher level than Kyler Murray. Now, Brissett is nowhere near as dynamic with his feet, his legs, right? Being able to run the football. But I do think Brissett does a better job of reading the defense and getting the ball out on time as opposed to Kyler Murray, who just seemed to this point, Emilio, it doesn't seem like Kyler Murray's lived up to that status because he was the number one pick, right? If I remember correctly, I think he was the number one overall pick that year. So
yeah, and I think you're right, especially coming off of a foot injury. How much mobility is he going to have? How much of his game is going to be the same coming off an injured foot? And again, dude, it's just a completely different quarterback. You need a lot more windows for Kyler than you do for Brissett. You can kind of see over the line, like we talked about, and again, we've played a couple mobile quarterbacks. I think we would fare a little bit better against Brissett than we would against Kyler. But again, they also don't have their running game like they did with Connor last year or was it last year we played him or the year before? So
right.
We're in a better shape, I think, than the last time we played them, obviously, but we have different challenges this game.
Yeah, and another thing too, like Coach Lynn points out, Trey Benson's also on IR. So they're really, really banged up in the backfield. That would make you think, all right, maybe they're going to throw the ball a little more than usual. And again, you can find all the detailed breakdowns and everything there in the game plan. But it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this game plan and how Matt LaFleur and Jeff Hafley are going to approach their game plan as well. As someone asked earlier tonight, let me find it here. Bang, Ron Sample says, how can the Packers stop that quick passing game? Pass rush has no chance against it. The thing, I don't have any worries about the quick passing game, Ron, because when you see the quick passing game, the way it's working for the opposing team, the Packers are playing with a lead. And when you dive into the tape and you see the coverage they're playing, they're kind of giving that up underneath, right? Especially in the second half. You'll notice they play their best defense in the first quarter. Then second quarter gets a little worse. Third quarter gets a little worse. Fourth quarter gets a little worse. And you see that and go, wow, that's alarming. And I'm not saying you're doing this, Ron. I know the media has been really bad about this, and this is why Jeff Hafley and Matt LaFleur have smacked them on the wrist a couple of times at the pressers. But they'll look at that and go, what's happening with your second half defense? And in a roundabout way, what the coaches are saying, well, every game's a little different. And what they're saying is when you got a lead, the last thing you want to do is be overly aggressive and let the team back in the game. Right. So I'm not worried about the quick passing game, Ron. I think if you wanted to stop it, that's real simple. Cover two hard flat, but you're going to be very, very vulnerable down the seam and the hole shots on the sideline, therefore explosive plays. I don't think you want to go that route. You could come out there and play a cover one man and actually play trail technique like play one man under. But guess what? You're giving up the sideline shot. And I don't think they want to play it that way. You can stop the quick passing game with a quick bump and run and deter those guys. But if they go over the top on you and they hit you for a 65-yard touchdown in one play, that changes the whole outcome of the game, doesn't it, Emilio?
Yeah, especially against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You're telling me we want to play bump and run cover two hard, cover two flats. I'm not for that. So yeah, no, I mean, and again, even if you're running, you can run cover three, cover four, be pressed up, but you're still kind of putting yourself in a pickle. If that's your responsibility as the corner, you don't want him to go overreach, over that boundary of I'm going to play press man, but also I have to give it to my deep third at the same time. If that's a switch release, dude wheels up on you and you're way out of position, it's a wrap. So obviously the players have a little bit of freedom. I think X was talking about him having a little bit more leeway here and there. And I know Hafley lets him do that, but I think they're just trying to maybe scheme him up a little bit better, get him into a couple better spots on the field. So hopefully we'll see something there. But him not getting targeted one time this year has no effect on how bad or good of a player he is. The dude's still a great player. The defense is just that solid that, I mean, it's literally like they're playing Clay. They're playing Madden. They're in play type and they're just staying in quick passes. And all you see is slants, bubbles, and flats. And that's really all they're getting. You get one or two comeback routes and a back shoulder, and that's all they've hit this defense with.
Yeah. And here's the way I see that, guys. If you've got a team and you're making them, go anywhere from 8 to 14 plays in a drive to score, the chances of something going wrong for them throughout the course of that drive are increased tremendously from you calling a defense where maybe they can score in 4 plays, right? Now, if you're playing from behind, obviously that's not the way you want to attack it. You want to be a little more aggressive, right? You want to try to force them to make a mistake, that type of thing. But yeah, I'm not concerned with it at all. I mean, I think that the coaching staff's doing a hell of a job of playing or of coaching the game in front of them. And I think it's huge, man. Every game's different. Every situation's different. Every personnel's different. Every matchup's different. And I'm not saying anybody in our chat's doing this, but when you just hear people chatter on Twitter and they throw out their random, critiques of the coaching staff, the play calling, this and that. I've got like 5 questions for them, and I never ask them because I don't want to argue on social media. But when you fire off a blanket statement that the coaching staff's bad at this, and I want to go, what down and distance are you talking about?
Yep.
What quarter are you talking about? What team are you talking about? What matchup? Like it's not that simple. It's not just, okay, we're going to do this the same exact way every time. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And that's it. It's not cookie cutter. Matt and Jeff both talk about it. It's literally game by game. It could be quarter by quarter, half by half, whatever you need to do to get the win is all we need to do. So, this team's in good shape, man. They really are. We can't press them just because we want, because we haven't given up a play, over 30 yards or something like that, or maybe 40, but if our defense gives up a one play 76-yard touchdown pass, I mean, tables are getting flipped. So,
oh my God, could you imagine?
So right now everybody needs to be happy with the fact that it could be a nickel and dime to get them down to score, fine, but you can bend and not break. And I honestly think the more you're bending in season, the more your breaking point, gets fine tuned, and you probably close on a couple more of those drives and hold them to field goals as the season goes on.
Yeah, and Brandon in the chat here says, as the Packers have learned to win, quote, ugly games, this will only make them deadlier in the playoffs. It's a great point, Brandon. And the other thing, too, Tim talked about it the other night, and we talk about it from time to time, the coaching staff, if they look up and they got a 2-score lead and they feel like, all right, we got a pretty good grab on this game, right? Let's hold – you've got those go-to plays. You got those gotta-have-it plays on the play sheet, right? They're going to be highlighted in a separate section. I'm sure Coach Lynn knows about this, and you might have them highlighted in green. It's like, okay, when you really need a play on a 3rd and short, here's our play call. When you really need a play on 3rd and long because the offense is sputtering, we're going to go to this call. If you're winning by 2 scores and you're winning the entire game, you stay out of that aspect of the play call sheet, and you carry that over to the next week. And now the other teams that you got, that you're facing that are watching your previous 4-game saturation, last 2 head-to-head game tape, they are not even aware of that play, right? You keep it in your back pocket. That stuff happens both on offense and defense. I know some fans refuse to believe that, but it's so true. And so when you talk about learning how to win ugly games, you're also talking about learning how to win these ugly games against maybe what most would agree is a lesser opponent in the Bengals, where you're not having to tip your hand and show those money plays that you really, really feel good about. So just another way of looking at it there. Respect Orange says, Ron Sample, let's hope they start calling holding on Micah. The officiating crew this week, Emilio, they lead the league in penalties right now, in penalties called, right? And holdings called. Breaking news, right?
Tim was on that, right? He's a rookie. Dude's been here for half a year. He's trying to make sure he hits his quota early.
Yep. So I think you're going to see a lot of holding calls this week. Now I hope it's not on our side of the field, but I do know this: as long as they're not calling holding on Micah, and Coach LaFleur and everybody in the organization is sending in the tapes to the league and going, hey, look, you're missing this, you're missing this, you're missing this, until they start calling it on us, I'm telling Rasheed Walker, Zach Tom, I'm telling the guards, bear hug the hell out of them, boys. Yep. Go out there and tackle them. If they're not going to call hold, let's take advantage of it too. That's the only way you can combat it, man. Yeah. Other than making it, yeah. So.
You're going to have to. And I looked up that number. Our longest pass we've given up was by Keyshawn, 34 yards. There's been 540 yards after a catch and 1,105 yards total passing. That's divided by 5 games. That's only 220 and change. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think we really can be mad that the defense is only giving up 200 yards a game passing, and we're top 3 in run defense and running yards allowed per game. Like, where are we mad at this defense right now? I don't understand it.
I don't either, man. I don't either. And again, going into the season, there were many people going, listen, guys, we may start 0-2. Those first 2 weeks are tough games. You come out and you go 2-0, right? And then you turn around and you lose a tough one to Cleveland. You tie with Dallas. You beat Cincy, and the sky's falling. I'm like, you didn't boat race Cincy, so everybody's all of a sudden worried about it. Ron Sample points out they also lead in offsides called. That's one thing I would be aware of with Micah. I would tell him, listen, Buck, let's tone down the offside stuff, right? Because he is getting a little too aggressive with that quick twitch. I wouldn't be surprised if Micah is one of the defenders in the league that's actually leading in offsides penalties. Seems like every game he's getting called for it. So it's something you want to be aware of there as well. But All right, man. Let's move it along now to the PFF preview. We've already hit on this first screen. We're going to hit on it again, though. We hit on it earlier in the week. We just want to make sure, see where the line's at, make sure everything's holding steady. It's still 6.5, so you can see the market has the Packers as 6.5-point favorites. When you look at the money now, Emilio, 51% of the money is on Green Bay. 57% of the tickets are on Green Bay to cover the spread. Feeling a lot better about this game now. Less of the public money is, it was swayed pretty heavily on the Packers earlier. Now, the overall money line, you don't focus on that as much as you do the line itself, the spread, but the money line still got 96% of the money with Green Bay, 94% of the tickets with Green Bay. Don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Just wanted to mention that's kind of where that's at. We're going to get into the lineup aspect now and compare player to player. The PFF projection does have it as more of a 7-point favorite as opposed to a 6.5-point favorite. Really closing in on 7.5 points. So most of the time you'll see PFF on the opposite end, right? Not most of the time, but sometimes on the opposite end of the market, and that makes you go, maybe their analytics are showing something that maybe the market is overcompensating for to get that money that's coming in closer to that 50% mark.
And that's the home game for the Cardinals, right? They get 3 there roughly with that.
Yeah.
So we're
1.5 to 3 points. I'm still old school. I say 3 because people I trust in the gambling community, they still say 3. But many people have this narrative that they're preaching now that no, it's actually 1.5 now for home teams.
So that would bring us to 9.5, or that would bring us to 3.5.
So
if you gave them that 3.
If you give them that 3, essentially what that means is, all right, they caught 3 points already, and we're still 6.5-point favorites. So if this was played at Lambeau, you'd be calling it. It'd probably be closer to 9.5.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's where it would be. So, and again, last week we were 14-point favorites. You only won by 9 points, right? Isn't that crazy to think about? Like that people were complaining we won by 9 points.
Yeah, not good enough. Didn't hit the 14.
What's that?
Not good enough. We didn't hit the 14 like they called for, right?
It's unbelievable, man.
And maybe people just need to stop putting money on the game and just watch it, right?
Just stop trying to convince yourself that you understand everything about the game. Because the reality is nobody does, guys. Nobody does, And when we try to approach it from the standpoint of, oh, yeah, they're 14-point favorite. Well, Matt LaFleur, they better boat race this team. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Watch this game. I've watched the NFL since roughly 1992, right? So I've been watching it now. I don't know how many years that is. It's a long time. I've been studying the game since around 2009. And I'm telling you, man, I'm still mind-boggled that people have gone their whole life watching the game of football, specifically the National Football League, and they're still surprised when a bad team competes with a good team. It's like, I know you've been watching too, but have you been paying attention? You know what I mean? Because it's like this every week. I mean, we just seen it last night with the Bengals beating the Steelers.
Yep. That's it. Any game.
All right, let's dive into it, Emilio. Let's just kind of look at their offense against our defense. We'll do it backwards tonight. All right. So obviously they got Brissett starting here, minimal snaps, but he's played the last few games. 76 PFF grade, looking strong. They showing Carter in the backfield here with a 61.5. When you look at their offensive line, is that Paris Johnson? I think that's Paris Johnson.
I believe that is.
Yeah, let me make sure. I think it is. Yeah, Paris Johnson. So obviously former number 6 overall pick there for the Cardinals. Of course, everything resets. You gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. So he's grading out a 77.5, pretty stout there at left tackle. Let's jump over to right tackle. Williams, a 60.2. Left guard, Brown, 59.4. Right guard, Hernandez is showing a 33, minimal snaps, horrible grade there. And then they got Frohold at center. He's the 9th highest graded center at a 69.1. When you look at that offensive line, according to PFF, and again, I'm not saying it's everything, but according to PFF, it seems like the right side of that line is going to be the weak spot, Emilio. So this might be the Rashawn Gary game, right? He's been due the last couple of weeks. He's been great in the run game. Might see him get some significant pressure in some in a sack or two in this ball game. It wouldn't be surprised.
I like a couple overload looks on the right side. I like a little bit of, mug in, move Micah around, stack Micah and Gary on one side, something like that. Let's switch it up. They do have the good base down though. You got a good center. You got a solid blindside tackle. If you can keep that right tackle in good shape, they have a pretty good setup there. just maybe not the best road grading line. Let's see if they can keep their quarterback clean, for longer than 2.5, 3 seconds, and we'll see where this D line is, because I think that we have probably the advantage so far on the O line D line look.
Yeah, sure. So that's how the offensive line looks. Now, when you match up our defensive front, Micah Parsons, 92.4, is the highest graded edge defender. I know Detroit Lions fans lose their mind when they see that, but he's the number one edge defender in the National Football League right now. And then you got Gary opposite him at a 70.8. He still leads the team in sacks. He also leads the defensive line in run stops. So obviously he's more of a run stopping defender, more of a balanced defender, as opposed to Michael Parsons, who just, hey man, turn it loose. They're going to double and triple team you. Just play with your hair on fire, try to get to the quarterback. Now we're showing Carl Brooks at a 52.1 and Kobe Wooden starting in the middle of 66.4. The one I want to see get at least 20 snaps is Warren Brinson. He flashed last week. Listen, guys, it could have been a fluke, right? No two ways about it. However, if it wasn't a fluke and he goes out this week and gets, 15 to 25 snaps, and all of a sudden Warren Brinson cooks, you might see him start to unseat some of these, just going to get yourself more playing time. So I'm excited to see if Brinson's a real deal or not. But just looking at the offensive line and the defensive line as a whole as it sits here, Emilio, how do you feel about the way we match up against our offensive line?
I think we definitely had that upper hand there. We've got the edges. We're set there. I think we're still a work in progress in the D tackles, especially with Wyatt out. But it's the perfect opportunity for everybody behind him to take that and run with it, right? It's the next man up mentality. Everybody has to be ready at a moment's notice to get out there and play. Brooks, we love him. He's had a couple of great years, but then he kind of, he's teetering off the past few. Wooden, we were worried wasn't going to make the team. He's been scaling it up the past couple of years. So everybody's sort of building to maybe what they can be. But yeah, you take a D tackle at the end of the draft. He doesn't end up starting right away. You bring in the undrafted free agent to sort of be your starter, and then again, that draft pick was actually the right call. Maybe all along. You got to get him reps. You got to get him time, and I think that's not where Kenny was a progress stopper. But the older the guy, you have more opportunities now for those young guys to get reps early, get them often, get them now in the regular season before we try to make a playoff push or anything like that, because at that point it would be too late to try to get them reps and get them ready.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, moving along to running back, we hit on Carter, 61.5. Trey McBride is the one we talked about being a Tuesday player. You can see throughout his career so far, a young career, only 4 years. This is his fourth year, 51, 76, 86, 78. So he has become a really good football player. Again, when you dive into the metrics a little bit deeper, this year, not a whole lot of yak going on, right? So kind of played to that advantage a little bit. His receiving grade, however, an 80. His offensive grade overall is 78.4. Run blocking grade, not too shabby either at the tight end position with a 65.1. How does he stack up against our linebacking core? Edgerrin Cooper is now the 15th highest graded linebacker in the NFL. Quay Walker is at a 62.2, sitting 39th. So again, Edgerrin Cooper sitting at 75.8, putting together a solid sophomore campaign here. I think he's going to do nothing but get better as the year goes along as well. And I love the fact that they're staying healthy, knock on wood, right? So I like our ability to shut down Trey McBride, because you're also going to have Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams probably both rotating in and out of the box to help cover Trey McBride. In the past, what you've seen is the safety on the tight end the majority of the time. So what do you think about Trey McBride matched up against our safeties and our linebackers here, man?
Yeah, Coop, the young guys are holding it down. Obviously, you're not maybe super happy with McKinney and Walker's grade, but they know what they're doing out there. Those are the vets. They know what's going on. Wes and Mike were talking about it, and we're talking about Cooper. I was just looking here. They actually have Cooper as the highest targeted person on this team, 35 targets, 30 receptions. So Cooper's actually been asked to play a lot more coverage this year than he did a lot last year with his loops and scrapes and those sort of things, because we already know what he can do with that stuff. We need to make sure that he's squared away and knows where he's going. We pulled it up on Chalk Talk, didn't we, Clay, where Coop kind of got caught in the middle. Nothing against him, but you weren't 100% sure when that star receiver came over there. What's our adjustment? How are we approaching that? Where's my, where do I got to get to my spot? I'm not mad at Coop at all. I think he's had he's a 85 receiving percentage for the players, 183 yards against them, about 6 yards a catch. which isn't horrible. Dude's got the speed to do it, got able to cover. I think just putting everybody in different spots will just only benefit them down the line. You're never going to have the same exact rep every single week.
No, I think that's all very well said. And again, when we watch that tape with Coop, what Emilio's talking about is, I believe it was 11 personnel. They were in a trips left or a trips right look.
Yep.
They motioned Jamar Chase over to the left. And when he motions over and then they run that route concept, you can see it was a cover 6 call. It was 2 left, 4 right. And basically when the ball was snapped, you could see the two side. They didn't change it, right? And some would say the original call, yes, it was a cover 6. But when he comes over to the left, it's almost has the counter effect of like a cover 9 look. And with the cover 9 defense, guys, it's really simple. With the cover 9, it's on the weak side of the formation, you're playing quarters. On the strong side of the formation, you're playing half. So it kind of turns into a cover 9 look, although that wasn't the plan. And you've seen the safety bail the hell out of there. It's like if they're trying to run some kind of switch release here, they may get us here because of the pre-snap adjustment or the pre-snap motion, but they are not going to hit us for a touchdown. Right?
And that decision in action by X is why we've only given up a 34-yard pass.
Bingo. And I have no idea how he's only grading out a 62.4 because if the stats I heard the other day were correctly, he still has not given up a catch all year long. So McKinney has been lights out. I don't know what they're watching on tape over at PFF, which, by the way, did you hear what Pat McAfee said about PFF the other day?
I missed it.
So they went on a big rant about PFF. And you guys know we've been very critical of PFF. We use it every week because it's another metric. It's another set of eyeballs that are on the tape, supposedly. Pat McAfee said that a player told him that Uber driver picked him up at the airport, right? Picked up this player, unnamed player. And that player was on their way back. Maybe it was Chris Long. Was it Chris Long that did it? Might have been Chris Long. Because somebody, I think Joe Pack just said in the chat. Anyway, gets to talking to this Uber driver. He's like, yeah, I work for PFF. I actually do the grade. I help with the grades.
No way.
Yeah. A damn Uber driver is who's being trusted to do the grades. There's something wrong. That's worse than the Madden ratings. Like when I found out who the Madden rating czar was in control of the Madden ratings, he's a valet parker, right? He parks cars at a hotel. That's what he does full time. And then he's the guy that's the expert on the – I'm going, what are we doing? And when that got leaked out, all of a sudden they got Chad Johnson pretending like he's doing it. He's just the face of it now.
Yeah, so, right.
Really, really interesting stuff. So, yeah, Chris Long went crazy. There you go. Chris Long because Mahomes was graded the highest quarterback. Yeah, so that's wild, man.
That's nuts.
Like Coach Lynn says, it's a tool. That's it. Amen, Coach. And again, take the PFF grade. Compared to the GPS tracking of NFL Pro and those statistics, those advanced metrics, right? Your EPAs, all that good stuff, and then watch the tape yourself.
Yeah.
And you got all the bases covered. But if it's someone that's just, hey, I'm just going to dive into the spreadsheets and just this number, that number, pressure rate, this, blah, 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 blah. At some point, like Michael Lombardi always said, who's evaluating the evaluator, right? That's important.
Three sides to a story, man, and we're only getting one of it with PFF.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk wide receivers. So they got Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, last year looked like a stud, 77.7, off to a slower start this year. Not bad, though, 65.4. He's in the slot only 62 of the snaps, 237 out wide. So he is more of a wide receiver. However, he will play the slot if they want to scheme it up that way, right? They've got Wilson in the slot, Michael Wilson, predominantly with I say predominantly, he's out wide 177, but he's got 120 snaps in the slot so far in this young year. Zay Jones, who I think is going to play tomorrow, he is mostly out wide as well. So this is more of your slot receiver right here in Michael Wilson with a 59.3 on the year. So again, when it comes to Marvin Harrison Jr., I had to click on the chat there just to make sure I didn't miss anything, but the private chat that is. So appreciate that. Got me broke up over here. So really what it comes down to is Marvin Harrison Jr. is the guy you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Right. When you look at our corners, Keyshawn Nixon continuing to do great things, man. He's 70.6. He's the 24th highest graded cornerback in the league with a 73.3 coverage grade. Man, he is the pass breakup king. I thought, again, if you just looked at the box score and you asked, all right, who got the majority of the catches on him, probably was Keyshawn against the Bengals. But when you watch the tape, I didn't have much of a problem with his coverage, man. His coverage looked pretty darn good to me. He was in Jamar Chase's hip pocket all
he
game.
was.
So I thought
He was tracking him. I mean, he was just footsteps. It was in his hip pocket, like you said. It was sticky. So I'm not mad at Keyshawn at all. I think he really played a great game. He's the only one that's given up he's the one that's given up the longest pass of 34 yards. I mean, Matthew Golden hit that with his one 9 route, right? 9 fade there. Nothing to it. So we really just got to start giving the defense a little bit of love, man.
Mm-hmm. And Not So Cool says Wilson balled out against the Colts. So that would have been last week. What was his grade last week? We don't have it, actually. I'd have to go to another screen or I'd check it out. Let us know that stat line if you know it. Not So Cool. Put it in the chat for us. I'd like to know what his stat line looked like for sure. Moving along. Let me get back to Bullard a little bit here. So we talked about Hobbs, 34th overall graded corner. Listen, I know that's not top cornerback, top play, but I think that's pretty stout. That's solid number 2 corner play, right? So Keyshawn, I think, is the big surprise emerging as your number 1. Bullard seems to be improving a little bit, Emilio. That last game, man, he graded out in the 80s.
Yep.
Again, coverage isn't his strength, but boy, is he valuable in the run game with the run fits off the edge and also attacking those underneath routes. My man, that 195 cannot be accurate because he looks thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. That dude looks like, he looks like a linebacker playing slot corner. I'm really excited to see Javon Bullard improve his coverage. Obviously, it's a 54.9 at the moment. PFF seems to think his run defense is worse than his coverage at a 50.7. I don't know what the hell they're watching there because he's a dog in a run game, man.
Yeah, he is. I still love Bull. I'm not going to give up on Bull. I really do think that we have something with him. 10 yards and in, man, is his bread and butter. And we need a nickel. We need the star, whatever you want to call it. We need that guy on this team. We need to be able to have that physicality by the line. Everyone's complaining about the short passes, all that stuff. I mean, Bull's someone that can stop and break that stuff up. He's someone that can break on those bubbles, on those flat routes, anything like that. And if he gets up into the 60s, I think people would kind of calm down on him a little bit. But it's tough him being a second-round player and not having a high enough color, a bright enough color on PFF. I think people are mad at him about it. But I do think that this year has helped him a lot just because he's been able to stay sort of in that slot. Look at those snaps. 200 at slot corner. Last year, he was probably 50, 75, 50 over here. He was on the line, all that stuff. Just flexing him everywhere. Just let him focus on one thing and get good at it.
Bates with the stats. Appreciate you, Bates. He says Wilson last week versus the Colts, 4 catches on 5 targets for 44 yards. He averaged 11 and no touchdowns, but he did have a long of 30. So I wouldn't say that's a great game, but you catch 4 of your 5 targets, you're doing what you were asked of, for sure. So there was another one here too I wanted to hit. I had it pulled up. Gosh, where was it at? I've already lost it.
How many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
Sorry, Coach. I had it pulled up just a second ago. Jeez, get off my back, man. I've lost it. No matter. Anyway, it's all good. I think it was talking about Chase. Jamar Chase last night. So Jamar Chase last night, here we go. Biz said Chase showed what a number 1 receiver is. No shame, really. Isn't it crazy that after the game, there were Packer fans that were tweeting like, so maybe our defense isn't that bad. Look at what Chase did to Pittsburgh. Emilio, every single time you've seen Chase making a catch against Pittsburgh, it was man coverage, was it not? So now, again, the majority of what he caught on us, that touchdown, man coverage, cover 1 man.
Yeah.
So I think
cover 1 man on 4th and 5, with the how sticky and close that cover. I'd like to know the catch probability, for next gen on that one because we were that close to holding them past that 14 points and locking them down. Yeah,
you still get the 2-score win, but you have that for teaching tape too, right?
Yep.
To just like Keyshawn, your coverage, your mirror match. He played mirror match man right there, mirror match press man. Your mirror match press man is textbook. I don't know where or when you learned it. But boy, are you good at it. Now we just got to get you finding the ball at the right, last second, got to be able to find the ball. But again, just the fact that he's covering that tightly in a cover 1 man look against Jamar Chase, I'm happy with it, guys. He's getting paid $6 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So something to think about. But yeah, if he breaks that pass up, like Jen Wright said, too bad K9 couldn't break it. If he breaks that pass up, oh my God, you're going to hear on First Take them going, this Keyshawn Nixon just went toe to toe with Jamar Chase.
Right.
That's what you're hearing. You know?
Right. And and honestly, maybe with it not, with that catch happening, that's a little bit more fuel for Key, right? A little bit more. All right, I got some more dog in me left. They need to see the rest of this because there's no way I'm letting that happen to me again or anything like that. He did what we talked about. He played it perfect. If he gets beat inside, he can, Chase can body him up a little bit, quick slant, and Flacco's hitting him on the dart, no problem. Your only option is to force him outside over the top and try to make a play on the ball.
All right. That's exactly right. Holmes in the chat says the fact that K9 was on hip means a ton. Very solid coverage. Completely agree. I'm telling you guys, I did not expect this. I did not expect Keyshawn Nixon to come out and play like this. When he said, I'm going to be CB1, I'm going to be real, man. I rolled the hell out of my eyes. I was like, man, come on, Keyshawn. We know you're not a cornerback one. Boy, he shut me up this year. He's looked solid. He looked really good. So, all right. And then on to safeties, of course, McKinney, 62.4. Evan Williams, Emilio. This kid is now the 6th highest graded safety in all of
he was the best guy around.
76.9. And what's crazy is it's not just post safety. It's not just Spurs safety. They're moving him all around, dude. Like, and it sounds like they're giving him and Xavier McKinney freedom to choose.
Yeah.
Do you want to play center field or do you want to play in the box? You want to play the spur? You look at his snaps. Free safety, it's showing 193 snaps. He's in the box 65 snaps. He's also played slot corner technically 57 snaps. It's been really, really interesting. He's been on the D line 7 times, which means he was mugging 7 snaps, right? Evan Williams is that dude. He's that dude. Tip your cap to our boy Goody. He found him one, man. Last year, 72.3. Now this year, 76.9. My God, man. That's a diamond in the rough, bro.
In the 4th round, man, nonetheless.
112. There was 111 players Emilio taken before him.
Yep. And again, plays on kick coverage, plays on punt return, punt coverage, kick return. You have to sometimes use your best players out there on those things, and it's just got to happen. He's doing well. I love his mentality. I love the way he thinks about the game. He's a super, heady player. I think he loves sort of the, kind of what we do, just like the mechanics of it, where you need to be, the different zones, different coverages, how he can get himself into that game. And maybe Evan and X had that ability to flip. All right, let's maybe Evan's going to be dropping into, post a little bit more these next couple of weeks, get X in there, get his nose, stuck in there, see what we can do. And, here or there, we're going to get a turnover force. These two are going to make it happen. We're going to get a couple up front with the D-line, with the linebackers. It's just all going to start to come together.
As Jen Wright says in the chat, no sophomore slump with 33. No way, no how. Completely agree. And Reef makes a great point. CV was able to break up that pass. What does that say? It says he's got a hell of a grid is what it tells me.
He does.
I'm telling you. But that's the beautiful thing is we're sitting there breaking down this lineup, Emilio. We're not even talking about Carrington Valentine, who's technically on the bench here.
Yep.
And boy, oh boy, I love me some Carrington Valentine. When he gets an opportunity, is it just me, or does it seem like when he's on the field, he just flashes, he shows up like that one pass break? Now, has he played perfect? Absolutely not. But the fact that he had that pass breakup was really impressive on Jamar Chase. So,
yeah. CV's been a dog for us. I was just looking. His coverage grade for the year so far was a 76.1. He's been targeted 16 times, only 9 catches, 56% receiving for only 99 yards, 11 yards a catch. He's been a dog for us, man, and he's not getting mentioned a lot. Yeah, he's maybe not playing as much, but he's also not getting mentioned a lot, which means as a corner, probably having a good game, probably doing pretty decent.
That's exactly right. And his defensive grade, overall PFF grade, I know you mentioned his coverage grade is 76.1. Overall defensive grade, 72.9. He's holding his own. Yeah. Hell of a year here by Carrington Valentine. All right, let's move along to the Packers offense against the Cardinals defense. All right, let's start on the Packers side and look at the offensive line real quick. From left to right, Rasheed Walker, 60.5. Aaron Banks, 43.4. Elton Jenkins 61.4, Jordan Morgan 53.9, and Zach Tom a 72.2. It's worth mentioning Jordan Morgan that last game, it's not going to show up here, had his highest graded game of the year, so he seems to be playing his best football. Zach Tom out there battling an oblique, and he just still 72.2, no problem. It's just unbelievable what he's able to do. Rasheed Walker struggling a little bit this year. He had basically gotten better his first 2 years in the league, 66.3, or his second, third year in the league. He didn't play at all in 2022. 66, 68, and fell back to a 60 this year. To me, I think he's thinking a little too much. I think he's a little ticked off too. He didn't get that contract. He probably wanted a contract because he's going into the contract year this year, but he's also kind of hurting his case for a contract extension if you want to get like top tackle money.
Right.
But I will say, man, I think Rasheed Walker can hold his own when he needs to. But in terms of the offensive line here, if there's a spot that you look at this game and go, here's where they have the edge, I think it's our offensive line against their defensive line. I mean, they got Josh Sweat, 77.4. He's got 5 sacks on the year, if I remember correctly. Calais Campbell, this dude's 123 years old. He just continues to play good football, 74.7. He's 6'8". We'll talk about it in the game plan tomorrow. But you're talking about a guy that can get up there and bat down balls and also play the run real stout at 6'8". Now, that right side, if this is indeed accurate in their nickel sets, Stills of 45.7, Browning of 58.3. So really what you're looking at in terms of Tuesday players, in my opinion, Emilio, Sweat first and foremost. Don't let him wreck the game plan. Make sure you get bodies on him. And again, this isn't like he's just done it for 1 year. If I remember correctly, he's been pretty solid. I mean, that's stout grades, right? 65, 62, 70, 76, 83, 67, 70, and a 77. So this is his second highest graded season so far, albeit just going into the 7th week of the season. So Josh Sweat's that dude on the defensive line that you probably want to keep an eye on. You can do it a number of different ways. You can get the ball out quick. You can get the running game going early, or you could try to chip him. The problem with getting the ball out quick, if you're going to attack over the middle of the field quickly, you got to watch out for Calais Campbell and those big balls.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And again, you got to worry about what's closest to the ball. D-line is where it's going to start. Honestly, our O-line kind of looks a lot like their O-line. We got a decent center, a solid tackle, and, a decent other tackle. So it's where we're kind of in that same, triangle of the O-line. I think that we really just need to make sure that there's no disruption. That wall needs to be built up front. We need to keep Love clean. We need to open those holes. And honestly, you're probably right. Maybe we just get run heavy on the right side. Maybe you boot action to the left, and then you're running right. Your main plays are that way. Maybe you can get outside of those guys. Maybe we can try to take them out of the play if you want to get outside, quick pitch or something to try to seal off the edge and just take them out of the play but still run to their side. Same idea when people are trying to attack us, when Mike is out there. Are you going to run at them? You're going to, try to run around them? What's the plan? But I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, leading up to the last game there against the Bengals, we had struggled to run off guard. Shout out to our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers, who sent me some analytics, some screenshots where we were struggling to run in the gap there with the right guard, right? That A to B gap on the right side. And then last week, what did we see? We dominated in that gap, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to that again this week and try to run, B to C gap right. Try to stay away from Calais Campbell. Now, listen, there's a chance that Calais could, hop over and play 3-tech or something, right? That could happen as well. So you just got to be aware of where Calais is and where Sweat is. If I was running their defense, what I would want is I would make sure Calais is actually lined up on the right side in the 3-tech opposite of Sweat at the wide 9 on the opposite side. So
it does look like we've gained a little bit more running right than we have running left. I was just looking at the directions on PFF. Right end wise, we ran for 111 yards on the right end. So it's like that's our highest direction compared to the left end at 56 yards. So
and I think what they're doing there, Emilio, too, is you continue to pound the ball right, especially out of 11 nasty, and then you can come back and hit them with that slot cross, and you really widen that window up when you get the backers biting on that 22 fake.
Yeah.
And, getting them pulled up. Does that make sense?
Yep. And then maybe like a couple of screens, maybe if we're worried about it, let's get a screen or two to their side. The defense's stronger side. Let's let them kind of break through that rush. Oh, they got a free one. Dump it to Josh. Let's see what we get going.
Yeah, completely agree, man. All right, so there's your offensive line against your defensive line. Let's talk about Tucker Kraft for a minute. PFF not too kind to him, although he is sitting at a 67.8. That's the 20th highest graded tight end in the league. Dude's a dog. I'm telling you, he maximizes every opportunity he gets. I think he's a true playmaker for the Packers, in my opinion. Their linebacking core is a weak spot to their defense. They got Davis Gaither at a 56.1 and Wilson Sr. at a 57.0. So they're grading out respectively at 49th and 54th stack backer position, according to PFF. Tucker Kraft could have a big game here, man. Could have a big game. If you continue to show that 22 run, go 22 duo, 22 duo, 22 duo, 22 fake, get those backers biting up. Really like Tucker Kraft's chances there on a slant or maybe even an angle route if he is playing off the line of scrimmage a touch.
Right. Maybe a little backside dig at the second level and just drop it into him. Just get the ball in his hands because that's where he's lethal. I mean, that's where he can get busy. And you saw it get us 7 points, right? So I think it's not, maybe it's Matt, maybe it's Jordan, maybe it's everybody, but we just need to get the ball to the open player. I don't think we can force feed anyone. Obviously, we want to get it to Kraft. Maybe we do a couple of those. Remember that fake double screen both ways, and then you drop it up for the middle screen to Tucker. It's like, let's bring a couple of those back. I know Matt's not going to use them all. We got to save the playbook for the year going on, but we just kind of need to just keep it up, keep dispersing the ball as best we can.
Yeah, just keep moving, keep spreading it around, man. And again, don't listen to all the hoopla about should we get this player involved, that player involved. Forget that stuff. Now, Josh Jacobs.
Someone's going to get hot each game, right? Just follow the hot hand.
So this is just absolutely awesome. Josh Jacobs is officially the number 2 graded running back in all of the NFL right now at 82.1. I mean, he started off kind of struggling a little bit. Now, we all know watching the tape, it was the offensive line struggles. It was a run scheme struggle. It wasn't like, what was Josh Jacobs thinking there? If anything, he's getting yardage that wasn't there, right? Yep. But now all of a sudden he's up to an 82.1. His receiving grade is what's crazy, Emilio. 87.9 elite receiving grade. And you've seen it last week, obviously, where you've seen Jordan pressure in his face, little stutter step in the backfield, get the backer to bite a touch, dump it off, let Josh Jacobs do the rest, man. Josh Jacobs he's having a hell of a season, man. I'm excited to see how he continues to improve as the year goes along, and Jordan Love continues to get on the same page with the likes of Matthew Golden.
Right. Looking at that 92.3 from last year, 82.1 is not bad at all, man. I'm super happy with Josh. He's had a tough go at it running wise with the way this O-line's been banged up and not being able to open some of those holes. The fact that we were able to get a couple of those last week, perfect. We need to build on that. We need to keep adding to that. And yet with that receiving grade of 87.9, the dude last year hadn't had a receiving touchdown in his entire career, right? We finally break that curse, whatever voodoo was over him. And dude, just get the ball in his hands. Same with Tucker, same with Josh. It's like we have a couple of those guys that just need to be able to touch the rock. And that's where Matt comes in. That's why he needs to scheme up different ways to get into him. I know we hate the jet sweeps, but sometimes you got to get it to just to play. Just get it on the outside. We're stretching the defense. It's you're 2 birds with 1 stone. Getting the ball in the hands of your playmaker and working the defense horizontally to try to open it up vertically down the line. And it's just we just need to stick to it. Keep going, man.
Yeah, and Randy Steen with the super chat. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate you. Says, or that sluggo that Kraft put on tape. Could you imagine a little slant and go? That's what a sluggo is, guys, if you're wondering what that means. A little slant and go from Tucker on those backers. Oh, my goodness. Imagine a 22 fake. He leaks out, shows a slant, and then hits the seam after the safety already committed to maybe the 2 on that side.
And Jordan can throw a quick little head nod at it, too, like he's getting ready to load up.
Yeah, love it. So, again, Josh Jacobs off to a solid start this season. Let's talk about Jordan Love for a second, man. The 7th highest graded quarterback in the league right now. You guys remember 2023, we were talking about how awesome he was. He is 0.6 points away from matching that grade that he had in 2023.
Heard it from a
Jordan
fan
Love's
right
real.
here.
This dude's a real deal, Emilio.
He is.
Real deal. And the way he carries himself, the teammate that he is, the leader that he is. I'm kind of at a loss for words, and thank you for that super chat, Randy. We're just so freaking blessed.
That's what
that Jordan Love is a starting quarterback now.
Exactly what I was going to say, man. And we really, truly are. There's right now, nobody else I'd rather have than Jay Love as our quarterback. His demeanor, the way he carries himself, his attitude, the friendships that he builds. I mean, you see him on the sideline. You see him excited with everybody, got different handshakes with basically the entire team. And it's just the exact guy we needed in this moment. I think that Matt LaFleur and him are on the same page. I think the offense really is starting to hum. We've put up almost 27 every game, and I think that it's just going to keep happening, right? And just sky's the limit. Super happy for Jordan, man. I just can't wait.
What's crazy is his 2 interceptions. It was like the only 2 mistakes he made. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He made a handful of others, I'm sure, and I'm sure he's getting critiqued way harder than we're critiquing him, in the meetings, in the meeting room and everything. But the thing, I guess what I'm trying to say is when you look at those interceptions, it's like each of those 2 interceptions, you're like, damn it, Jordan, if you had not thrown that ball, you had a perfect day. And it's not to be overly critical. It's just he's so close to playing truly like that Aaron Rodgers, peak Aaron Rodgers form, man, because he's starting to protect the football like Aaron did, back in the day. I mean, I know people see the interceptions from time to time and go, man, that's a stupid throw. I got you. But again, he's thrown 2 picks this year. I mean, he's on pace for, I don't know what the touchdown passes are now, but I'll look it up. Yeah, I want to say it's at least 8. Yeah, maybe it is 9. Let me hop over real quick. I won't put it on the screen.
Speaking of peak Rodgers.
On my knee.
That's not peak Rodgers. That's Perk Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about here? So let's see here. Let's go. Let me just pull up these stats. I want to give you guys the correct touchdown to interception here. So, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. So, Emilio, what week are we in? 7?
That is 7. We've played 5 games.
So we're still less than halfway there, right?
Yep.
When you average this out, you're going to see what you're going to see with Jordan Love. I mean, he's tracking only having 6, maybe 6 interceptions, something like that, maybe even 5. If he finishes the year 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, boy, oh boy, I'm going to be.
I think we were talking about that, Clay. Where was your number? I think you were around 8, right? I think you were 6 to 8. If he does that, we're in great shape. I was over here 10 to 12. As long as he's putting up the touchdowns, it doesn't matter. Seeing this offense the way they're playing, hey, let's keep it at 4 and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like the way he's kind of making this happen, and just 2 freak really picks. His turnover-worthy play probably might be a little bit high, but it doesn't show how it comes off in the game. You know what I mean? He is making great decisions. The ball's getting put in good spots. He's using his legs. Everything's sort of humming. And previous decisions that were poorly made in the previous years, those are starting to get erased from his game. And I think that he's just sort of building on that.
Completely agree. Brent in Indiana with the super chat. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate you, buddy. No issue with the Love. Miss the Rodgers attitude. I think I agree with both of that, man. Listen, there's a lot of people that Aaron Rodgers' attitude they soured on. I'm just telling you, man, you need somebody to keep people accountable, right? This isn't a dig on Love. I love, no pun intended, I love Love's leadership.
Yeah.
Right? Me personally, I would respond better to how Jordan Love leads than Aaron Rodgers. And that's not that I would be pouting or anything because Aaron Rodgers chewed my ass for making a mistake. I'm just saying I would, the guy that looks at me like Jordan would and be like, hey, man, I need you here. Like, rather than what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
but there are some guys that, like Lombardi used to say it, and I'm paraphrasing very, very heavily here, but Lombardi, what Vince Lombardi was so good at, they said, was he knew which players he needed to pat on the back and mess their hair up. And he knew the guys that he had to put a boot in their ass, right? That's what makes a great leader. So when it comes to the leader, I'll tell you, Bart Starr, same way. Many people look at Bart Starr because he was a gentleman. He was a stand-up dude. He was just this guy. Him and his wife, 2 amazing human beings, right? But I've also heard the stories about how this guy, one particular, they said that this guy kept getting through and hitting Bart Starr, right? In the middle of the game. He got hit, got sacked like twice. And he turned around in the huddle in front of all his teammates and said that guy's name and said, if so-and-so gets back in here in the backfield one more time, I'm going to kick you right in the pants in front of all these people. Like, you don't think Bart Starr would say that, right? But again, he knew he probably couldn't go to that young player and be like, come on, guy, I need you. Yeah. I need you here. It's more of I'm going to put the fear of God in him real quick and straighten him up like, hey, this is not acceptable. So I think Aaron does that better than Jordan does.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I like Jordan Love's leadership a little bit better than Aaron's. Both of them have the strengths for sure.
Because if Jordan does bring that sort of attitude, Clay, or not attitude, but that arrogant, whatever, however people want to reference it, if he brings that sort of heat, that thunder, people are gonna, straighten up and straight and narrow, right? Because it's not his style. If Jordan Love were to ever bring that in a game, bring it on the sideline, we might not see it. Maybe he does, but in those fair few moments that does happen, people are snapping their head up and they're listening. They're gonna respond if a dude that's quiet like that speaks up and makes that that sort of a statement. You're gonna see them respond to that.
Yeah. Holmes says 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions sounds about right to me, Clay. And not to mention the running, right? His ability to extend the play and obviously pick up first downs with his legs this year as well. Randy Steen says, even if they are ugly, 1 pick every 2.5 games is incredible. So, it really is. Really is. Way better than us on franchise mode Madden, right, Amelia?
I get a little pass happy, Clay, man. And my freshman QB gets rattled when he throws too many picks.
I'm the opposite, man. I'm that dude. I'm playing 1945 football. I run the hell out of the rock. I'm telling you right now, I'm the most boring.
You're using Navy's offense over there, just option.
It's just when I come to the line, if there's any question whatsoever, I'm going to a run play every time, man. That's just how I roll. But all right, let's move it along here. We talked about Jordan Love. Let's talk about our receivers against our corners. Listen, it's worth mentioning Will Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I remember us talking about him, right? And was that this year's draft, Emilio?
It was.
It was. So Will Johnson, is he healthy now? Did he play last week? He did, week 6, right?
Yeah.
Because he was banged up. So he played, 50 snaps? Yeah, so he played 50 snaps last week. And the week before he played, it looks like a 40, what would that be? 50, however many. 50-plus snaps, right? You guys can tell I'm from Kentucky. I don't count Will. But 50-plus snaps the last 2 weeks, so he's now healthy. Where did we have Will Johnson on our draft board?
Will Johnson was our second-rated corner. Would have been first if you took out Travis Hunter, but our second-rated corner had 12.3. He was a captain. He had the hard eyes, but was red from injury concern. And he was a cornerback outside. We had him marked as.
Yeah. So we were very, very high on him. But again, we got him in red. Not saying you shouldn't draft him. It's just that, hey, don't forget injury concerns.
Well, that's why he fell to the second round, 47th pick, was because of the red injury concerns, or else dude would have been a first-round pick.
Yeah, and that's a hell of a pickup by the Cardinals, no doubt. So that's going to be their stud corner. Now, outside of him, it's Cheeks. Right now, listen, I don't mean to put any slander on the Melton family name here, but Max Melton not off to a good start according to PFF. A 44.0 PFF grade there. Obviously, he's a former second-round pick. He was drafted in 2024, so this is his second year in the league. Last year, he graded out a 54. This year, a 44. Obviously, that's Bo's brother. And then, of course, in the slot, you got Jalen Thompson, who's grading out a 59.3 right now. So, really, man, you just got to be aware of Will Johnson, right? You got to kind of know where he's at on the field. Don't get baited. And if you guys remember, the big scouting report on Will Johnson coming out of Michigan was sticky man coverage. It was the best man cover corner coming out in the draft.
But wasn't his speed just a little? People were just worried that he didn't have top end speed, or maybe was it because he didn't run?
That's it. See, his tape. You turn on the tape and you go, my man can run.
Yeah.
But he did not run the 40. And then remember, he wasn't at the combine. And then he invited everybody in. Hey, I'm going to do a pro day. I'm going to show you I can perform. Everybody got there, and he didn't run the 40. Everybody was pissed off about it. So that's probably why he's sneaked on the board too. So
that's right.
But yeah, so that's how their cornerback room shakes out. We talked about linebackers at the safety position. This is kind of hard to see here, man, or kind of hard to. I don't know what the right word is. It's the end of an era. Budda Baker has played the game the way it should be played his entire career. But, man, he's off to a slow start this year, Emilio. 49.3. You see his PFF grades throughout his entire career. 72, 65, 71, 75, 64, 73, 64, 77. It looks like he might be hitting that wall now. How old is he? He's going to be turning 30 this year. So, Budda Baker plays a physical style of football. He's a leader of men. He's a stand-up dude. Everybody in Arizona absolutely loves him. He's voted a captain every single year. Seems to be hitting a little bit of a wall. So if Budda Baker has hit that wall and his best football is behind him, that's a good thing for the Packers this week. But, boy, DTD, I know you were big on him coming out in the draft, right, Emilio?
Red Raiders, man. I just love the way he plays. He's a thumper. He's not afraid to throw the shoulder, but he's fast. He's got good awareness. He's responsive. With Buddha sliding down, I think that it's impressive that DTD has kept it at 75 a year. I mean, he had a good year last year, having a good year this year. Maybe it's only on a couple of games, but he's consistent, right? He's not maybe having elite games. The dude's super, super consistent in the way he plays. And look, you can see it there with 73 coverage, 66 run defense, not afraid to stick his nose in it, and probably doesn't get beat over the top too often.
Yeah. So again, DTD, Dadrian Taylor Demerson is grading out much higher to 75.1 last year, 75.5. So he seems to be the real deal. That's a safety you want to look out for.
Didn't Buddha just get paid too this past year? Wasn't
Buddha,
that?
It may have been. I'm so bad with this stuff.
Because I remember, weren't they having a big issue about wasn't he going to be on the market, and people were talking about wanting to get him picked up and everything like that. Then the Cardinals finally go ahead and give him the money, and it's tough if the dude starts slipping right after they gave him that money, right? That's not what we're looking for.
Yeah, let me look here, Amelia. It looks like Buddha Baker signed a 3-year, $54 million contract with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what, they didn't give a specific date, but so essentially what you've got here is he's under contract through 2027. Okay. So the current contract, he was signed in 2024. All right. Okay. So this year's cap hit is only 10.8 million, but there's 24 million in dead cap attached. Next year in 2026, his cap hit jumps 9 million or a little less than 9 million to 19.2 million, but the dead cap attached is only a 6.1. So the potential out is before the 2027 season, where that dead cap drops all the way down to 3 million. Really what you got is they can move on next year and free up a significant amount of cap space and to the tune of about $13 million. Yep. So yeah. So he got a little bit of guaranteed money, got the pot sweetened a little bit, right? And it looks like his best football is behind him now.
Tough to see, but you can kind of see it, though. You got Campbell, you got Buddha. Not that they're super old. That's an aging team, though. They have a little bit of age on that defense there where, it's not going to be sustainable forever.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, guys. So there you go. There's your PFF preview. Emilio, before we move along and get ready to wrap this thing up, is there anything else you want to say in terms of the grades? We can go back to the defensive side as well. Anything else?
You just want to flip to base for both of them real quick, too, just to see who else pops up there.
Base? Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to base defense. All right, so they got a 34 front. Sweat will play outside linebacker along with Browning. Okay. So it looks like they're going to bring in a defensive lineman named Darius Robinson, former first-round pick out of Missouri. I remember him now. I remember he was very versatile.
Yeah. Okay, yep. Not having a great run, though.
Not versatile on Sundays. He's a 35.5. Looking pretty ugly. So it is what it is there. So that's what that triggers in their base package. And, of course, when we go to 12, let's just see what Musgrave's looking like. Musgrave's up to a 58.8 now. He's getting a little bit better, right? So definitely better than last year, although there were very, very few minimal snaps last year with the injuries. But, so we'll see what Musgrave can do.
To Musgrave's point real quick, do you think that it's odd that he's in line 83 and only slotting wide 7 and 7? You think that's a little odd?
You would expect him to be flexed out more. I don't find anything odd with his coaching staff, though.
That's fair.
I'm the one saying Jordan Morgan needs to play left side, and they think totally the opposite. Right. So, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know more than them, but I'm with you. When I see inline more than the slot and more out wide, it just seems kind of strange, right? I'm with you on that, dude, for sure. Let's see here. So, there's our 12. And again, I want to be very, very clear here. I hope we stay in 11 personnel. Yeah. This team is different in 11 personnel, man. It's what they're good at. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I think you're spot on with that. I just brought me to the attention just because of last night's game, watching the Steelers, man. It seemed like every single time they were in a passing set, it was 2 tight end, 2 wide receivers, and a back. And they just flexed them out wide and just ran with it. But I was just trying to see where we were kind of sitting with that one.
Gotcha. And then when we go to their 12 personnel, okay, you got Higgins that comes in, all right? If you want to read that off real quick, I'm going to try to pull up on the side here. I want to give you guys an idea of how much 12 personnel they actually run. Tell everybody about Elijah Higgins, because he's off to a solid start. He's 11th highest graded tight end.
Yep. Mr. Elijah Higgins came from Stanford Cardinals, so he didn't go too far on his team name there. But he was drafted in 23, 6th round, 199 selection. He 23 had a 63.6, 24 he had a 61.9, and this year he's actually having a 74.5. They use him. Looks like he's kind of more like a U back. He's in the backfield 20 snaps, inline 65, slot 19, wide 10. He's on every special teams there is. Dude looks kind of just like a versatile Tucker Kraft, just not as skilled, right? And just not somebody that they rely on. He has an 80 receiving grade, run blocking of 59, but not super, super into their offense, I would say.
Gotcha. So in terms of 12 personnel, it looks like the team that runs the most 12 personnel is the Cleveland Browns at 48%. Next is the Atlanta Falcons at 47%. Next is the Baltimore Ravens at 44%. Then Pittsburgh at 40%. All right. Going on down the line, you got to go down pretty far to get to the Cardinals. So again, the team that's running it the most is in the 40 percentile range. The Arizona Cardinals are only running it 23% of the time. So essentially what that means, guys, is when you jump into the Cardinals specifically, they run 11 personnel, which is a 3 wide receiver set 54% of the time. They play 12 personnel 23% of the time. Or I'm sorry, they're in 12 personnel 23% of the time, which is one running back, 2 tight ends. That would trigger our base 4-3. Okay. Right. And then 13 personnel 9% of the time. That's interesting. 12 personnel with a star. I'm not sure exactly what that star indicates. They do not give it to me here, so I'm not sure what that is. They're showing 12 again in a certain clip as well. But again, what you got is 11 personnel 54% of the time, 12 23% of the time, and you'll probably see quite a bit of 13 personnel as well. Comparatively speaking, across the rest of the league. So now when we look at our base, McDuffie, man, listen.
Still having a season, man.
Yeah, 78.2. And again, guys, he comes in as our sandbacker when we're in our base 4-3. Man, what else can you ask for? I'm glad he's under contract for 2 years. This is listen, we talked about Tyron Hopper and how he looked really good in training camp and specifically the preseason, grading out really, really well, thinking, man, he's probably going to take that Sam job from Isaiah McDuffie. Isaiah McDuffie said, no can do, sir. Not taking my job.
Not taking my job or my seat, right? Stitch that thing on there. Look at his kick coverage and down. He's on basically everything I would think for kick, field goal, block, punt, all that stuff. And then, you look at the D-line snaps. He's getting 43 on the D-line because he's up there. He's in that. He's walking up to the line, setting that edge. He's that sandbacker, being able to, sort of turn the edge. He's not getting a bunch of snaps, right? But we're also not in that base a whole lot. And I think that's where, we rely on Coop and Quay to handle that. That's why you need that star, that nickel. But McDuffie, if he keeps playing like this the rest of the season, there's nothing you can complain about the way he's handling it right now.
And since we're talking base defense here, base 4-3, the Cardinals do run 12 personnel, 14th most in the league. So they're kind of middle of the pack, all right, in terms of that. In terms of EPA out of 12 personnel and EPA ranking, I should say, they are in EPA ranking. The Cardinals are actually 10th in EPA, which is expected points added out of their 12 personnel. Okay. So that's interesting. Now, if I were to hop over to 11, so keep that in mind, they're 10th, right? Is what I said in EPA rank. Okay. So in 11 personnel, the Cardinals fall down to 25th in EPA. Okay. So keep that in mind. So they're much better, a higher EPA ranking out of 12 personnel as opposed to 11 personnel. Very interesting there. In terms of running the ball out of 11 personnel, their EPA ranking is 28th. So they don't run out of 11 personnel very well. All right. Their EPA in passing out of 11 personnel, the Cardinals EPA is actually, where are they at? 22nd. So you're not facing a very high-powered offense here in terms of EPA and the 2 packages that they run the most, or the 2 personnel they run the most.
Right. So, but a team that has stayed in it and only lost by 9 total points in their 4 losses. So it's not anything that we can sort of take for granted and think it's just going to be a washer, just a beatdown.
Yeah. And the Packers, just comparatively speaking, the Packers, when they're in 11 personnel, their EPA ranking is 7th best in the league. Okay. EPA per pass out of 11 personnel, the Packers are 8th. EPA per rush, the Packers in 11 personnel, 4th best. I love running out of 11 personnel, man. Get that nickel back in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And come in with those nasty splits and make that nickel corner have to cheat into that run fit off the edge and blast his ass to oblivion with the tight end. I love it. So, and we got these wide receivers like Malik Heath and Savion Williams and these guys. Boy, they're looking for an opportunity to hit a nickel back. You know?
Yeah, you know what?
No block, no rock.
Got that right, Coach. Got that right. Emilio, you got anything else you want to hit, man?
No, man, I think that was a great show. Glad we got to go over some of the numbers and kind of outline that for it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And I know you got plenty of college football to play tonight. I think I'm going to crack open a daddy soda and hit a couple games myself.
Yeah,
so,
you got to let me know how you play. I got a couple dynasty games to get in.
There you go. There you go. We're getting those Kentucky Wildcats back in the top 10, back as if they've ever been there. And
yeah, right. Yeah.
What a crap show that is, man.
It's all about getting those recruits to show up, Clay, and winning on the recruit visits.
I've been on the phone with boosters all day long, man. Ain't nobody coming off any money, man. I was trying to borrow a Benny off of Jacob earlier. He just been in the club, though. So, all right, guys, appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This is a lot of fun, man. We had a bunch of people swing through, and I know the Brewers are getting ready to get started here, so this is pretty good timing. Go Brew Crew tonight. Hopefully they can turn this around and make a miracle happen. It ain't looking good right now, but nonetheless, we'll be here talking Packers, whether they get eliminated tonight or continue their season along. So I do want to give a shout out real quick to this. I know Tim usually handles this for me, but I want to hit it real quick. Thank you, iRock. Appreciate the kind words, but everybody in the chat, y'all hit that like button for us. So we are partnered up with an awesome organization. All right. Packer Fan Total Access teaming up with Operation Horses Hill to raise money for a truck and a horse trailer to help bring life-changing horse-assisted programs to veterans, providing the space and environment to allow for their own self-guided wellness journey. All right. So essentially what we're doing here, guys, Operation Horses Heal, they've got an organization they've created where they have equine therapy. And I didn't know anything about equine therapy before we partnered up with them. Thank God Tim brought this to my attention. But it's a really cool kind of an all-natural way for dealing with PTSD, going out, spending time with the horses out on the ranch, hanging out. It helps the veterans. The feedback has been phenomenal from veterans who are dealing with stuff, whether it's, things that they've had to face in battle or maybe it's being away from the family. I mean, there's multiple different versions of PTSD. If you guys are not familiar with it, it's something that's very wide ranging. But what they're doing is, like I said, looking to get a horse or a trailer and a truck so they can take these horses on site to other areas rather than have the veterans come in. It's just a way that they can reach more veterans along the way. So what we've done is I've got a white, it's actually hanging right over here on the wall with a certificate and everything. I'm going to pull it off the wall and mail it out to whoever wins it. But we're donating an autographed away white Romeo Dobbs jersey, okay? Certificate. I just caught the ball. Everything along with it. So anybody who donates, every donation is an entry to win an autographed Romeo Dobbs jersey, okay? So anybody who donates to this cause, that's you're going to get yourself entered into the contest to win that autographed jersey there, okay? So again, you can actually check that out. I think we got a QR code. Tim's so much better at this than I am. Right there, just scan that QR code in the upper right. Or you can also go to this website right here. Thank you, Emilio. OperationHorsesHeal.org/forward/how-can-I-help/ or the easier way on my Twitter account at Packers_access. I've got a tweet pinned to the top of the page. Click right there. You'll see Tim's tweet as well. There'll be a link in his tweet. Just click on that. You go straight there and donate. It's to a great cause, man. Sowing good seed, helping those veterans out that obviously are the reason that we're able to sit here in this awesome free country and talk about the silly little game of football. So
got just under 2 weeks left with that, right? Being
that's right.
Friday. Yeah. You're stopping it on the 28th?
We're going to run it through the month of October, so we'll take it all the way up to the 31st, and then we'll do the drawing the first week of November.
Perfect. So you got 2 weeks. 2 weeks left. All right, we got to hurry up before Halloween. Get it in. Help them. Help everybody that's helped us. Right.
Yeah. And again, guys, there's no donation too small. And also, if you don't have money to donate, feel free to just spread the word. Right. That helps too, right? Let's send as much traffic to OperationHorsesHeal.org as we possibly can. Because I'm telling you, man, I think many people think they're not valuable, that they can't help, that maybe their word of mouth advertising isn't good enough, it's BS, man. Anything you can do to help. I always say, man, if you ain't got money to donate, then donate time to somebody, to helping someone. If you ain't got time, you probably got money because you're working so damn much. You got plenty of money in the pocket, but you ain't got time to do anything, right? So either way, man, time and money is what it's all about, helping each other out. So, all right, we're out of here, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. The goal tomorrow will be to hit the game plan. I'm going to tweak it a little bit more. You guys can check that out over at patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. $3 get you access to everything there. Also get you entered into other giveaways, which the post-game show this week against the Cardinals, we're going to be giving away an autographed Javon Bullard rookie card. Okay. So the way that works is if you're a member of the Patreon group or a member here on YouTube, we put everybody's name on the wheel, spin that sucker, whoever it lands on, we'll mail you out an autographed card. So that's the way that works. Just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the Patreon community and the YouTube member list here on YouTube. So Emilio, appreciate your time, bud.
Absolutely. Love to be here.
Everybody have a great night. As always, let's go out and beat the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack.
There we go.
Bye, guys.